Welcome to Previewed, where friends don't let friends review television shows alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay.
And today we're going to react, review, riff, and at the end maybe recommend Netflix's Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth.
So we watched all of Sweet Tooth.
We sure did.
It took us a couple weeks because we didn't want to binge it because the show was really good, so we spaced it out a little bit.
Yeah, and that was rare actually, because there was times where it was like we had time to like get another episode in if we wanted to, but it was kind of like, no, I kind of don't want to. I don't want to be done with this yet.
Yeah, I'm happy where we are right now. I kind of want to sit in this feeling for a while.
Yeah.
Let's just feel like let's marinate in this for a couple days.
Yeah.
I don't need to watch the next one. I want to watch it immediately, but like I'm good with this right now.
For those of you who are wondering why you didn't see our reactions to Sweet Tooth on this channel, it's produced by a certain company who doesn't like us making content off of their content.
Nope.
So we did full reactions of the entire episodes, and they are all up on our Patreon. If you'd like to check that out, check down the link below. We'd love to have you. There's a lot of really amazing people supporting us. It's kind of incredible. Yeah, and or not. We'll just keep watching our videos.
Yeah, it's all good. Too. We will keep doing seasonal reviews because any other big nerdy program that this production company puts out in the future this year, we'll be going straight to our
familial company, the production company.
It will be going straight to our Patreon to protect our channel from their
copyright strikes.
Exactly right. So
we could be more euphemisms, but they just they were like, here's your copyright.
We got to protect the channel.
You're very rude.
Yeah. So anyway, Sweet Tooth Season 1. Wow, the show is way different than I was expecting.
Yep.
Granted, I didn't know what I was expecting, and after the steady diet of all the Marvel stuff and the Star Wars stuff, and hell, even Invincible earlier this year, all the superhero stuff we've been seeing, all the nerd content that's been coming out the past couple of years, I know this was a 40-issue run of a comic book that I learned after we watched the first season. But I was so pleasantly surprised at how good the show was.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't... It was, you know what it is Sweet Tooth has such a different speed than anything we've seen in a while.
That's a good way of putting it.
And that was very... It's not... like, the pacing is not slow, but it is not rip-roaring.
No.
Like, it almost had Mando vibes in that, like, it kind of has a slower pace. It does, like, one thing an episode, and that's fine. But I think we had just come from so many shows that just kick hard every episode. Yeah. This show was just like,
paced out, well paced. I mean, this is basically like a Mando situation. It's a kind of a wolf and cub situation. Gus, I mean, the success of the show is really kind of on the tiny, slender shoulders of that young actor.
Yeah.
He is
incredible.
The most adorable. Like, you can't teach that. The kid's just freaking adorable.
Yeah.
And did a fantastic job of pronouncing Pubba the same way the whole time.
Yeah.
And just the way he was so... I read up that like he really studied how to like move like a deer and like run a little bit, try to emulate a little bit how a deer runs, and just like, and those ears, whoever was running the ears, like, my God, his acting and the team behind him moving the ears and stuff, because that's practical, just did a fantastic job, much like they did with puppeting Grogu.
Yeah.
Like, it was a collaboration of stuff, but my God, the kid is so good. He was so good.
Yeah, the thing that really struck me with this show, in that, like, from everything we've been watching up to this point, is that I did some research into, like, the actual storyline of the comic, like, after we finished it, just to kind of, like, see how it was different. And I appreciate how hope-core this show was. The line specifically when he says this kid's got hope coming out of everywhere, it really leaned into that in a way that I found very refreshing. Because if you go through like what actually happens in the story, it's a lot more grimdark. It's It's pretty brutal. It's similar, very similar storyline, but it doesn't pull a lot of punches. Whereas this, like, I felt like they knew that certain aspects of the show were going to be a little bit too hot to handle post COVID, and I think they knew that, like, look, we already have The Walking Dead. We already have certain things. If they lean towards a more hopeful, while still kind of screwed up, still kind of dark,
pretty dark,
post-apocalyptic, if they could skew towards hope, they did. And I really appreciated that vibe of it. Now, were there a lot of scenes where my butthole was real tight the whole time? So I was like, someone's going to, I hope not. Yeah. But
Because this show's riding the line really hard.
It's
I mean, we knew Will Ferrell was not going to make it out of the first episode. We just knew it. But the way they handled it was really telling for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Because like he went out there with a vial of the disease, trying to get that guy, the first man, to like, oh wait, go away, don't tell anybody because you're gonna die. But then obviously we didn't see him get attacked. We didn't see him get injected. You know, the guy turning it around on him.
Yeah.
And his death was handled poignantly. Like they didn't dwell on it. They didn't like really like crank up the music to make us cry. Like he just kind of passed. Gus was sad. He buried him, and we kind of, we had a moment, but we kept moving on with the show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't played to like kind of twist the knife in everybody. And further on, like all the things like that, they always cut away right before they gave you enough of like, well, this is pretty bad. This is I am sad this is happening.
Yeah, Jeopard killed some dudes but it's done in such a way that's like you get that like good action feel and you get the severity of what he's doing, but it's not over the top.
Right. It's like kind of like the Boys, right? Is so gory, it's in your face.
Yeah.
Good action, but it's also the really gory. Same with Invincible, right? This show is also when the action happens, and it happens sparingly, and they use it correctly, but when it happens, it's still really good, but they know they don't need to show you the gruesome details of that bear trap closing in on that guy's head and then falling in front of poor Gus.
They very firmly understand that they're telling this from the point of view of the child. Like, it's very much we're getting the whole picture. It's not just one point of view, but like, there's those kid gloves come on, and I don't mean that in a judgmental term. No. Like, they really they kind of like lightly hand a lot of things. I have to be 100% honest with you. My only issue with Sweet Tooth in general, and this may be my own what I'm bringing to the table.
Sure.
And I guess trigger warning if you're thinking about watching this show. A lot of the pandemic stuff is tough. I'll just leave it at that. Like, some of the stuff is like they handle it really well, and it's not flippant. Like, they really take it seriously. But there are some sequences where I'm like, this is just I am just not ready for this yet.
Nope.
I understand why they're doing this, but like, man, Big Doug, that sequence was savage. I did not like that.
Oh.
Like,
nope.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're still not totally cool COVID-wise, if you're not like there yet, which is understandable, but like maybe give this one some time.
Yeah, I mean, and worth it. Hopefully there's a second season, so by the time the second season comes out, you can binge watch the first one to catch up. But yeah, it was the first 10 minutes of the first episode is like, hey, the world's dying, and it's like, this is too soon. Yeah. This is too soon. Like, we're just kind of getting over a hump of this thing, and it's still going on, but this is too soon. And also, like, hey, it could have been this. Like, it was so well done that it's like, oh, it's what we all went through, but like only a couple of degrees more painful. Like, oh god, it was too real and too soon.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
But what I was worried about going into that first episode was like, oh, the world, and the narrator's like, the big crumble, and the world ends. But I thought we were going to be doing parallel tracks again, like Jupiter's Legacy of this is what happened as the world ended, and this was going on in the present. But they didn't. They stuck to the present and only went back to a couple of things here and there just to elevate, and they didn't stay.
It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah. And they do they have one flashback episode, and they keep it to one episode. And I think I like that way more. I didn't even, now that you mentioned that with Jupiter's Legacy, all the back and forth made that show so disjointed.
Yep.
And I feel like this show could have fallen into that trap, but it didn't.
It could have, yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I really enjoyed Big Guy's journey and learning more about what he went through, because we learned about him through introducing Bear and her child army of lost boys and girls.
Yeah.
Who will come back at season 2. They might be. Afterwards, after I was freaking out about the ending, I was like, how? No, but they can't. Oh, wait a second. Those kids are out there. Maybe they hop a train. Maybe somehow Bear's like, hey, you guys hate adults? Hey, I know there are a bunch of adults. They got all the kids we want to save.
Yep.
Come on down to Denver. We got adults to kill.
Come on, Dad. We're sharpening up them knives, animal children. We're going to go kill Dr. Robotnik.
Right?
He looks like Dr. Robotnik.
Yes, there were a lot of... The way that this show was paced out, of like, okay, we're spending a lot of time with the doctor and his wife in this episode in the town, and like, oh, and Trixie, one of our main heroes. Oh, I hope Trixie comes back and mule kicks a few other adults. Because man, Trixie deserves all the carrots for killing Karen. Was her name Karen? She was a Karen.
Nancy, I think her name was.
Was her Nancy?
I don't remember. She was a Karen.
It was one of the best scenes of the whole show. But just the way that he grew from, I must on my own, and now when we actually saw what his backstory was of why he was running away and like why he didn't kind of want to help, but then felt like he should help Gus.
Yeah.
Like is even more poignant. Like I thought showing his growth and learning his backstory was really well paced.
Yeah.
To really get us to the very it was like there's no wasted episode here. There was no filler episode. Even the one episode that was
so glad we got away from that. Because there was, man, in the early like Netflix and streaming days, some of these shows had too many episodes.
Oh yeah,
Marvel, Netflix Marvel, always too many episodes. Yeah. Like if you can't do it in 8, I'm not interested.
Yeah, but the way they paced everything out to know everything about Big Guy to the moment he finally like comes to terms with his reaction in the hospital when his wife and his child were taken, and then like really officially like gloms onto Gus and like you're my guy. Mm-hmm. He gets shot. Like, it was the perfect moment for him to get shot in the chest. And we lost it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even know what happened. Because it wasn't, again, it was handled masterfully because the shot wasn't all that loud. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's so touched by Gus's. That's really nice. Oh, no, wait, he's in trouble. Like, the show did a very, very good job of just ratcheting up the tension. And even though we hadn't seen anything horrible or disgusting or gory, like, I'm still like primed from all the other stuff we've been watching, like that it may happen, and this show seems like it could go that way at any second.
Well, here's the thing: the show is so hopeful. I didn't see it coming, so it's actually like it gave us enough time. It gave us enough. It built up my trust enough that like that twist, like actually stung me. Mm-hmm. In other shows, I would have just anticipated it happening. I would have been like, of course that happened. But I was like, oh man, I'm mad at you, show. Mm-hmm. I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm mad at you.
So, there was no filler in any of the episodes, except for maybe the 5th episode, which you might be able to consider filler a little bit. But I think the 5th episode, the one where Gus falls off the bridge and into the lilacs or whatever.
All the flashbacks and stuff?
The psychedelic trip that he was on, seemed a little fillery. But I think, after watching the flashback episode, right?
Yeah.
And the mom being like, well, the mom, science mommy, being like, we were working on a vaccination and somehow accidentally grew Gus. So, like, it seemed like they were working on, and this is where conjecture is, we want to hear what your theories are. Seemed like they knew about the disease that was going to wipe out, the pandemic that was about to happen, right? So they were working on a vaccine for it because the ice core thing they got might have come from that, maybe.
Yeah.
They're working on hopefully a vaccine for it and accidentally grew Gus out of it. So Gus and the kids maybe the cure for it, even though they have like a drug from their hypothalamus. Maybe they might, if somebody who knew what they were doing, like if his mom comes back, hey, oh yeah, we could just boop, boop, all it needs is a drop of blood. What? You're cutting their heads off? Why would you? And you didn't even sedate them? You're crazy? So why would you do that? That when Gus falls into that valley of flowers and he has a hallucination, psychedelic daddy is telling him, or Pubba, is telling him information that Gus did not know.
Yeah.
Which leads me to think something bigger is happening here.
Oh, yeah.
Because Gus did not know what Dr. Robotnik looked like, and the vision specifically said, this is the bad guy. Look at the fire reflecting off of his glasses. Stay away from him. So, like, I don't know if it's got something to do with the narrator or something, but there seems to be a much bigger story going on.
It might be a sentient virus. Who's to know?
Ooh, maybe. Because we still don't know that we don't even really know the origins of the disease. No, they were hinted at. The ice coring, the mom talking about it a little bit, but there has been no concrete connection to the from the hybrids to the disease to the visions that Gus had and to the end of the flowers.
Yeah,
the connection has not been connected yet. So I don't know what's going on. So the mystery of the disease and the hybrids are still out there.
Yeah,
and it's really good, and they're not they're not stretching it out too much.
Sure.
Not to mention the mortal danger all these kids are in, and the fact that
we gotta go get those little Care Bears. We gotta get them. Care Bear cousins.
Come on, they are the Care Bear cousins.
We gotta get them. Yeah.
Yeah, the show is really good. Jay, would you recommend Sweet Tooth?
You know,
to everybody?
I would. I really would. I don't think this is a. I think this is a. This is not a binge show.
No.
This is a take your time with, enjoy the show show. I think, yeah. My only hesitation for recommending is that, like, if you know, hey, if you're still not mentally there yet after COVID, we understand. We get you. Big hugs. Maybe don't watch this show yet.
Yeah.
Maybe give it a little more time. I would recommend it a little bit further down the line, but honestly, yeah, this is one of the more subtly great shows of this year. I highly recommend this show.
Yeah, I can't recommend the show enough. Obviously, with Jay's caveat of, it was like, if it's a little too soon, it's a little too soon, so hold off a little bit. Because they did a very good job with it.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that point and like, hey, okay, here's the present, here's the situation, what's going on, here's what we're dealing with. Man, oh man, it's just the right amount of hope, tension, fear, action. It's got all of it.
It's a very well-layered trifle. It's got all
really
the different things in there.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. It's well lit. The acting's amazing. The cinematography is great. The scenic shots are just astounding. Like it's.
If you have seen our Patreon reactions, then the amount of times that one of us goes, "What a shot!" like is pretty staggering. It's a lot of times because we're so lost. We get lost in the meta of shooting that show so much that it's awesome.
Highly recommend this show. Well, what did you guys think of season 1? Is there going to be a season 2? I looked up. At the moment, we don't know.
We've not been confirmed.
If you guys know anything, let us know. All that down below in our description box. And also, while you're down there, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Do that YouTube that you do so well. Guacamole's extra, you sweet teeth weirdos. You get your teeth unsweet. Yep.
Don't eat too much candy, guys. Your teeth will fall out.
You heard it here first.
Getting cavities in the apocalypse, not a good idea. So watch your sugar intake, everybody.
Oh yeah, that is a nightmare. So you got to pull it out like Ron Swanson.
Oh, I was thinking Castaway with the ice skate.
We gotta end now.
Oh, the video's popping up right. Yeah. Please watch this. We would appreciate it as much as we appreciate you watching this one. I'm sorry.
No, it's just that scene is so savage.
Well, I mean, anytime anyone says DIY tooth removal, I think straight to Castaway. Okay, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Really just the sound design of it. All right.